Welcome to our channel. Today, we have the following news. Angelababy, song Zuer's failed comeback. After being banned from broadcasting due to personal scandals, Angelababy and song Zuer both chose historical dramas to return to the small screen this year. Previously, Angelababy caused a lot of controversy when appearing at the Crazy Horse show in France, and song Zuer was suspected of tax evasion. Therefore, the return of these two famous actresses attracted a lot of attention but unfortunately did not meet expectations. The movie flopped, their acting was criticized, both of them quickly fell into a state of silence even though they were once famous stars on the screen. Angelababy's disappointing comeback, a failed movie and stagnant acting sparked new wave of criticism. In the ever-shifting landscape of the Chinese entertainment industry, comebacks are often hard-earned, especially after controversy. For Angelababy, once a beloved fashion icon and actress with a massive following, the aftermath of the Crazy Horse scandal was seen as a turning point. Many industry observers and fans wondered whether she could regain her footing with a compelling performance in a new project. That hope was pinned on her latest drama, Everlasting Longing, which premiered with considerable buzz and investment. Unfortunately, the series not only failed to deliver but has arguably pushed Angelababy's career further into decline. Everlasting Longing was supposed to mark a new chapter for Angelababy. The production had been hyped for months prior to its release, with high-profile marketing campaigns, a lavish budget, and a visually appealing historical setting. Yet despite these promising ingredients, the drama struggled from the outset. In a fiercely competitive period for television dramas, Everlasting Longing was quickly overshadowed by rival productions that offered fresher content, tighter scripts, and more compelling performances. The show's viewership numbers failed to rise significantly, and the initial curiosity surrounding Angelababy's comeback soon dissipated. A major contributor to the drama's poor performance was its underwhelming script. Critics and viewers alike pointed out that the storyline felt outdated, predictable, and riddled with inconsistencies. While the genre called for emotional depth and narrative twists, the execution fell short. The scriptwriter seemed to resort to melodrama in a last-ditch attempt to salvage audience interest, introducing tragic plot turns, violent conflicts, and surprise revelations, but these additions only highlighted the drama's lack of coherence. Instead of drawing viewers in, the plot devices felt forced and disconnected, failing to build the kind of emotional resonance that defines successful historical romances. However, the most severe criticism was directed at Angelababy's performance. Long known for her beauty and fashion sense, Angelababy has often been criticized for her limited acting range. In the past, her exaggerated facial expressions, especially her habit of wide-eyed staring and dramatic eye-rolling, have become internet memes and a source of ridicule. To her credit, she made some visible adjustments in Everlasting Longing, opting for a more subdued and restrained approach. But while the exaggeration was toned down, it was replaced by something equally problematic: stiffness. Many viewers felt that Angelababy's portrayal lacked emotional depth. Her facial expressions appeared frozen at times, giving the impression that she was struggling to convey the inner world of her character. In a genre where subtle emotional cues are vital, particularly in portraying romance, longing, and betrayal, this inability to express complex feelings was a major drawback. The romantic storyline between her character and the male lead, played by Song Wei-long, also fell flat. Despite being paired for multiple scenes designed to showcase intense passion and deep connection, the chemistry between the two actors felt cold and mechanical. Critics described their interactions as lacking authenticity, with some even calling the couple one of the least convincing romantic pairings in recent memory. This failure to ignite romantic chemistry only further highlighted Angelababy's ongoing struggle with emotional nuance, a challenge she has faced throughout her acting career. While other actresses have gradually evolved and matured in their craft, Angelababy's growth appears to have plateaued, and her most recent performance has done little to change that perception. Moreover, the context of her return added another layer of scrutiny. The Crazy Horse scandal had significantly impacted her public image, and while her fans remained loyal, a large portion of the general audience was watching closely to see if she could rise above the controversy. Everlasting Longing offered her a crucial opportunity to demonstrate resilience and artistic maturity. Instead, its lukewarm reception and her uninspired performance have led many to conclude that she may not be capable of a true career revival, at least not without a radical reinvention. In an industry that thrives on reinvention, emotional connection, and adaptability, Angelababy's reliance on her former star power is proving insufficient. Everlasting Longing could have been a redemption arc. Instead, It serves as a reminder of the growing gap between the expectations placed on top actresses and Angelababy's actual capabilities as a performer. For now, her future in acting remains uncertain. Without a strong role to anchor a comeback and with audiences increasingly turning their attention to more dynamic and expressive talents, Angelababy risks fading into the background of an industry that once embraced her with open arms. Whether she can turn things around remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: time is running out for another mediocre performance. Song Zuer, a promising comeback that fell short. Compared to Angelababy, whose recent performances have failed to leave much of an impression, Song Zuer initially appeared to be on a far more promising path. After a long hiatus from the screen, her return in the fantasy drama The Demon Hunter's Romance attracted significant attention. The drama, which boasted a fast-paced narrative, high production value, and a star-studded cast, seemed to signal a major comeback for the young actress. Upon its release, the series quickly climbed to the top of trending charts, generating buzz across social media platforms. Many fans and industry insiders hoped that this project would mark a turning point in Song Zuer's career, a long-awaited breakthrough after a relatively quiet period. At first glance, everything appeared to be in her favor. The visual effects were praised for their stunning artistry, the costumes and set design drew admiration, and the initial episodes captured viewers' curiosity. There was a genuine sense of anticipation that The Demon Hunter's Romance would be the hit that re-established Song Zuer's relevance in the highly competitive Chinese entertainment industry. However, as the series progressed, cracks began to show. Despite its flashy surface, the drama quickly ran into narrative issues. The plot, while initially engaging, turned out to be underdeveloped and lacking in emotional depth. One of the biggest disappointments was the superficial treatment of the demon slaying theme, which was supposed to be the drama's central element. Instead of being a rich and compelling aspect of the story, it was handled in a simplistic and formulaic way, failing to offer the kind of intrigue or suspense that would keep audiences invested. As a result, interest in the drama waned, and it gradually lost momentum. Character development also proved to be a weak point. Many viewers felt that the story failed to give the leads meaningful arcs or growth, which made it difficult to form an emotional connection with them. For a drama centered on a battle between good and evil, the stakes felt curiously low, and the characters often seemed to act without clear motivation. This narrative stagnation inevitably affected the overall reception of the show. When it comes to acting, Song Zuer did manage to stand out somewhat more positively than her counterpart Angelababy. She has long been recognized for her ability to control her facial expressions and maintain a certain level of consistency in her performances. In this role, she once again demonstrated a reasonable command over her emotions and avoided some of the more common pitfalls that other young actresses fall into, such as stiff dialogue delivery or exaggerated gestures. However, her performance was not without flaws. A recurring criticism from viewers was that Song Zuer tended to over-rely on certain expressions, especially in more neutral or everyday scenes. Her default expressions often included frowning or appearing petulant, which gave her character a somewhat sulky demeanor even in situations where a lighter touch would have been more appropriate. This created a sense of monotony and led some critics to argue that she is yet to break free from the acting habits she developed earlier in her career. That being said, Song Zuer did shine in emotionally intense scenes. Moments of sadness, despair, or internal conflict allowed her to tap into a deeper emotional register, and her performances in these moments were often praised for their sincerity. In crying scenes or when portraying the character's sorrow, she managed to convey genuine feeling, emphasizing her lines with effective timing and palpable emotion. These flashes of brilliance reminded audiences of her potential and hinted at the emotional range she is capable of delivering when given the right material. Unfortunately, isolated moments of strong acting were not enough to salvage the role, or the drama as a whole. The lack of a compelling storyline, underwhelming character dynamics, and uneven pacing ultimately overshadowed her individual efforts. The Demon Hunter's Romance may have begun with high hopes, but it ultimately failed to deliver on its initial promise. For Song Zuer, it was a case of being set up for success, only to be let down by an unremarkable script and direction. In the end, while Song Zuer's performance had its strengths, it wasn't enough to rescue the project or reignite her career in the way fans had hoped. Her return to the screen, though not without merit, underscores the harsh reality of the entertainment industry. Even talent and fan anticipation can be undermined by weak storytelling. If anything, this experience highlights the importance of choosing quality projects, not just popular ones, in shaping a successful comeback.